Here at noon, a massive drug operation busted by the FBI. We've been told agents served a number of federal arrest and search warrants across the Louisville area today. One of them at a home on Northwestern Parkway in Portland. With more than a dozen people in custody, the FBI told us it is still looking for more. We'll keep you posted on this developing story. In the meantime, make sure you have that WHAS11 app handy for all of those updates. LMPD saying it has arrested the man who barricaded himself inside of a Portland home this morning, causing a heavy police presence, including members of SWAT. Police were called to the 1800 block of Rowan Street around 5 a.m. for a man with a gun reportedly knocking on doors. After several hours, the man eventually exited the home, surrendering to officers. Two others were found inside, but police are saying they are not calling them hostages. It's unclear what led up to that event. Louisville police just released photos of the man they believe robbed and attacked several women in the southwest Louisville area over the last few months and may have tried to attack again as recently as Sunday. Take a look at the suspect here from the security camera obtained by police. A woman called police Sunday morning just before 6 on Kennedy Place Circle. That's near Stone Street. She had come home from work saying a man was running up to her car with a gun. That's when she drove to the front of the complex to wait for police, and the same man approached her, tapping on the window with that gun. So she called police again. When they arrived, he was nowhere to be found. They are praising her quick thinking, saying she did the right thing by driving away and calling for help. Now, police do believe this man's connected to a handful of assaults in southwest Louisville. So here is that photo again. Victims have described the attacker just as you see here, a black man about 5'10", thin build and wearing all black with a hoodie pulled up over his head and a silky mask covering with his mouth and nose. Police believe recent news coverage may be pushing him out of this area of southwest Jefferson County to other parts of the metro. They say it's actively following leads. Well, police are asking all women to be vigilant and aware of your surroundings. If you see anything suspicious or know any information about these assaults, call that anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. Police did make an arrest after two sexual assaults on women in the middle of the day in busy parts of town, both reported on Friday. Police arrested 39-year-old Sean Miles after they say he followed a woman home, punched her, and then raped her. This was in the St. Joseph neighborhood between Germantown and I-65. That woman told police she'd noticed Miles following her. Then first on Eastern Parkway and then closer to home at Shelby and Maylon. She said she was frozen with fear when he started to attack her, but called police immediately after and was able to provide a description which led to his arrest. He is charged with first-degree rape and fourth-degree assault. A second incident happened on Market Street in downtown Louisville around 9:30 Friday morning. Police said a woman was walking near a Shell gas station when a man pulled her behind a wall and assaulted her. A witness heard the woman screaming, got a picture of the suspect, which then led to his arrest. This man, 37-year-old Travis Hall, he is charged with rape and sexual assault. A deadly shooting outside a downtown Louisville restaurant calling into question whether last calls should come earlier. This as family and friends remember 35-year-old Colby Banks and 37-year-old Terrence Bethel. Both were killed outside the Southern Restaurant and Lounge around 3 Sunday morning. 5 other people were also hurt. The event Saturday night was meant to mark the bar's last night in that spot, as it said it prepared to move to a new location. The party spilling into the streets, and by 3 a.m. guests were running for cover. 2 people wouldn't make it home.
To see him be taken away from us in such a tragic, but definitely like unexpected way, it's hard to wrap your head around.
Friends of Terrence Bethel described him as a good-hearted person who'd give the clothes off his back. He says his death will be especially hard for his 10-year-old daughter.
Awesome dad. He's an awesome dad to his daughter, man. He loved her very much. And I think he had some plans and he wanted to do something with her coming up soon. That's why this is even more tragic.
LMPD has made no arrest in that deadly shooting. Anyone with information to come forward is asked to do so by calling that anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. Our Grace McKenna and Chief Photojournalist Philip Merle spoke with the agent in charge of enforcing all the activity within those bars in our city and regulating those hours. They explain the challenges this agency faces in enforcement and what city leaders want to do now.
Within hours of the shooting at the Southern, Mayor Craig Greenberg pushed the idea of rolling back bar hours. It's an idea that's been floated before, and some calling for it this time around say it's just one part of the solution.
There are too many of these incidents happening in the middle of the night when bars and clubs are the only businesses that are still open.
Just 12 hours after the shooting at the Southern restaurant, Mayor Craig Greenberg called on council to consider rolling back bar hours. District 8 Councilman Ben Reno Weber has brought up the same proposal.
This is one possible tool in a much broader set of strategic investments that we are making and need to make.
Council considered a closing time ordinance to address violence about 2 years ago. At the time, bar owners told us responsible businesses shouldn't be punished for bad actors, something that came into question Sunday.
I would say that it's a restaurant, but it's really a bar.
ABC Director Brad Silveria said even with an active license to sell alcohol late at night, the Southern had to meet a standard amount of food sales.
Essentially, the operation was under investigation as to whether or not they were qualifying and meeting all the requirements of a restaurant license.
Silveria says ABC enforcement is a combination of observations by officers and reports from the community. ABC had eyes on the Southern starting July the 10th.
You don't have a right to sell alcohol in Kentucky. It's a privilege, and that privilege can be taken away.
Silveria says the restaurant's lease ends August 31st, and he's asked the state for an emergency termination of its alcohol license, short-term solutions that are part of a bigger picture.
The most responsible thing that council can do is follow the data around what works.
One Reno Weber says needs to include council, law enforcement, and late-night businesses themselves. In Louisville, Grace McKenna, WHAS 11 on your side.
We looked into the alcohol sale regulations in some of the other cities in our area. In Indianapolis, restaurants can sell alcohol until 3 a.m. under Indiana law. It is the same for Nashville, and over in Cincinnati, Ohio law cuts off sales at 2:30 a.m. A new LMPD graduate off the job after being charged with DUI. This comes before he'd even worked that first shift. According to LMPD officer Luis Rodriguez, hit several parked cars along Frankfort Avenue Saturday night. Officers found him still in the driver's seat when they arrived. He had just graduated from the academy last Friday with his first shift scheduled for Sunday. LMPD said the chief immediately fired Rodriguez after learning of his arrest. 2 Kentucky school districts have been forced to close in-person classes due to the surge in COVID-19. Lee County School District and Magoffin County Schools in eastern Kentucky both moved online. The Kentucky River Health District said it's seen an increase in COVID cases, but the true number could be a lot higher. U of L Health said the new strain of COVID is about as severe as the flu and can be prevented with a booster shot. Today, the KFC Yum Center is hosting a hiring event to fill more than 100 positions. These will be both full and part-time in areas like housekeeping, guest services, and security. You must be 18 or older and have at least a high school diploma or your GED. The Yum Center says it'll also be conducting interviews today, and there is a chance you could be hired on the spot. The event is until 3 this afternoon in the Yum Center lobby. If you can't make it in person, you can apply online. Right now, the United Campus Workers of Kentucky holding a rally at the University of Louisville. The union represents faculty, staff, and students who work for the school. It's demanding fair compensation for workers, including a 10% cost of living adjustment and a minimum hourly wage of $25 an hour. The union is also seeking increased transparency and input on decisions affecting workers.